Hello, and welcome to Grade.com Talks. Today we're talking with Suzanne Stone, Chief Strategic Solutions and Program Officer at Livestrong, an organization that listens to the people who are dealing with cancer every day to find the most overlooked problems in cancer care and then fixes those problems. And if you're new to our podcast, please press subscribe button either on YouTube or your podcast app, because today we're going to learn about an organization that has provided help for over 8.5 million cancer patients across the United States. Good morning, Suzanne. How are you doing today?
Oh, good morning. I am doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
We're excited to have you here and learn about Livestrong more in detail. Could you please describe your organization?
Absolutely. I'm excited to share.
Wonderful.
Sure. So Livestrong is a nonprofit, 501c3 in the United States. We're based in the United States, but in the past and currently, really, we want to impact everybody across the globe. So while we're based in the U.S., that doesn't mean that our impact is only felt there. So we are approaching 25 years in existence, which is pretty amazing. A lot of people may know us from the yellow wristband that we started 20 years ago. And our goal every day when I wake up and all of our team wakes up, we say, what everyday cancer problem will we fix today? Mm-hmm. And we're not looking to cure cancer. There are a lot of people out there doing really great work, figuring out how to end the disease. But more and more, cancer has become a chronic disease. We're living longer with it. We've got better medications, better therapies. But what we find is that it presents a myriad of problems that reach beyond just the physical. So there are things like financial hardships. Cancer is expensive. And not only you might lose your job, what if you are the sole breadwinner in a family and suddenly you're no longer able to work? What if you don't have insurance? Financial toxicity is a big problem. We're also looking at things like nutrition. I don't know what to eat. How do I eat right? How does what you put in your body affects how you survive? What if I can't sleep? Mental health, neuropathy. I can't feel my fingers. My cancer treatment is over, but why am I still numb? Why am I swelling? All of these kinds of things. So whether they're physical, emotional, or mental, financial, social, those are the everyday problems that we're looking at. And then we invest in other organizations and grassroots efforts to fix those problems so that they don't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm. I really like your approach when you said that there are enough organizations that are working on curing the cancer. However, we're working on the side effects, on the environment that these cancer patients are dealing with, whether it's financial stability, mental health, and all of those issues. So I applaud your work for that. What are some of the most overlooked problems in cancer care today, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think there are a few that rise to the top. One is fertility. This is something that a lot of people don't think of. So imagine if you are a young cancer patient, whether you're a 14-year-old or you're a 30-year-old, and you get diagnosed with cancer. Generally, when you start treatment, it's very quick, right? Suddenly your life turns upside down. Somebody tells you have cancer, and now you're going to undergo chemo or radiation. Both of those things and a lot of the medications that you may be on will cause you to become infertile, could damage sperm and eggs permanently with no chance of ever being able to have children in the future. A lot of people don't realize that. And if your physician doesn't tell you, then it's very possible that you undergo those treatments and then maybe 10 years later or 5 years later, you're healthy again and you want to have kids and now you're no longer able. Mm-hmm. So fertility preservation is something that is very, very much overlooked. And so we've created a program, fertility programs in the US. I don't know what they cost, in other countries. But in the US, female fertility programs can cost upwards of $10,000 and more, just to have your eggs preserved. And so there's this really tiny window of time before treatment starts where a patient can go get fertility services. So whether that's preserving their eggs or their sperm, and now they can go back to getting treated and getting healthy. And then when it's time to start a family, they have the opportunity to do that because they were able to preserve their fertility. That's a big problem that a lot of people don't realize happens. So to fix that, we've tried to take the financial piece away, and we've partnered with a drug company called EMD Serono. They provide free medication for those patients who are cancer patients that have about a week or 2 weeks before they have to start treatment to do this fertility treatment. And then we also have a network of over 700 clinics in the United States that provide a substantial discount on their services to these patients. So fertility is one that I think is a very overlooked problem. Another one is cancer recurrence. It's what happens after. So we see a lot of social and emotional problems occur in cancer patients after they're better, because people say, oh, you look great, you must be perfect, but they're not. So that the support, that social support that's been happening for them kind of drifts away. Everybody goes back to their lives. You look good, you look healthy. You just said you're cancer free, so you must be fine. And that's also not the case. So there's a lot of emotional turmoil that happens during a cancer diagnosis. And after treatment ends, that's when we see a lot of mental health challenges, fear of recurrence. People stop taking care of themselves. Depression often sets in, isolation. That's when we see larger mental health issues. So I think mental health is a big one that's really overlooked as well. And I would say that recurrence piece is kind of the third piece. Everybody knows that cancer can come back, but the likelihood that it comes back and it's detected is often, and it's detected in time, can often be determined based on where you live and your income. Your socioeconomic status often is a determinant for that second, that recurrence that happens. Usually if a cancer recurs, it often comes back a little angrier than when it started that first time. And can be more aggressive. If you don't have reliable transportation, if you don't have insurance, if you don't have access to good health care, if you move a lot, if you're transient, then oftentimes that delays that second diagnosis and can lead to a higher mortality rate as well. So those are just a few. I could talk forever on some of the things that we work on every day.
I do understand that you highlighted two of the most overlooked problems. The first one, fertility, and I like the fact that you guys come when it's the first steps, when it's the beginning, and you educate people about the issue, and at the same time you provide resources for them to get help, and so after they're treated, after they're healthy again, they can build their families. And at the same time you're also dealing with post treatment issues, so this doesn't happen again. You indicated that reoccurrence is one of the most overlooked issues. And how is your organization helping people so they don't get cancer the second time? What are the tools that you are providing? How are you supporting the people?
Absolutely. Great question. So we're doing a few things. One, we want to make sure that people understand how to stay healthy after treatment, because it's so important. And your body is now different than it was before. So we've got a few things. One, we developed an exercise curriculum and an exercise program that is specific to cancer survivors. So as soon as you finish cancer treatment, they're often quite weak, and we want you to be healthy again. You need your body to be healthy again. So you need to get to a good weight. You need to get your cardiovascular system back to working, your immune system back to working. So we developed an exercise program. We partnered with the YMCA, which is a United States-based organization. And there are thousands and tens of thousands of people across the United States that have participated in the Livestrong at the Y program to get healthier from a physical standpoint. There are 809 YMCAs across the country offering this program. We also have an online tool called Help Starts Here, where you can go online and click that button. Just says, I don't know what's wrong with me. We've got a big research library in there where you can find articles that are fact-based. They're not Facebook-based, and so they're based in science and not urban legend necessarily, and that you can really rely on. There are lots of other things that we're doing as well. Mental health that I mentioned is important. So we fund and partner with mental health organizations, and we're actually having active discussions right now with the communities and people across the country and the world to talk about how can we improve mental health for cancer patients after they're finished. And then nutrition, like I mentioned, is another one. We're also looking at that and nutrition, and how can we educate and change nutrition for cancer patients who now may have difficulty swallowing. Maybe they can't eat the same foods that they did before. Their interactions with drugs like grapefruit, citrus can be a big drug interaction sometimes. So there are lots of things that we're doing. And we're actually funding a research program right now at the University of Michigan that is looking at how to, for patients who are specifically have brain cancer and tumors, they often can't drive after they've had surgery or treatment. They can't drive themselves anymore. And what happens post-treatment is that these patients become very isolated, and that recurrence is caught often very late. Their mortality is high because they don't go to the doctor. And so a group out of the University of Michigan that we're funding is working on remote surveillance with these patients so they can, through telehealth, talk to their doctors, and they're creating a system to help those physicians diagnose them, just like we're talking over Zoom, so that they don't have to go in, and they can figure out what's happening when it's happening, and get that patient to the hospital when necessary.
Wow. So you're not providing necessarily one tool, you're providing several tools that include both nutrition, physical activity, mental health, and then precautions as well. So it's a widespread of tools that any cancer patient, if they wish to receive, they can come to your organization and get the help they need to. What are some
Absolutely.
What are some of the challenges your organization faces today?
Oh, there are a lot. I could keep talking about those too, but I think one of the I think one of the biggest challenges that we have is finding enough funding to provide as much help as we want to give. So there are so many organizations that we want to fund that have come up with solutions to some of these problems. And so maybe there's an organization, say in New York or in Sweden or in India, Mexico, and I talk to these people from all over the globe all the time. It's one of my favorite parts of my job. And we've found some people who have great solutions, and we want to be able to give them money to take that solution that's happening in a little tiny piece of the world and grow it, right? How can we make the solution work, not just in San Diego, California, but can we make it work in Iowa? And what about Paris? And can we make it work in Hong Kong? What can we do? And so I think funding, there's just never quite enough money to go around. We have a solutions grants program where people apply and share with us the solutions that they've come up with. And just this last year, we had over 220 applications just for a single grant round, asking for over $14 million in funding. I wish I had $14 million to give them.
Wow. The fact that the number of people who are working in combating and solving the problems of the cancer patients is huge, and they all come to your organization. Unfortunately, it's always the case that money doesn't grow on trees, of course, and that's why we might not be able to fund everyone. You might not be able to fund everyone, but I believe you are doing your best and picking the ones that are the most urgent, as well as the ones that can impact more and more people, right?
Absolutely, that's what we try to do, and it's hard, but we really look at all of the applications and look at all of the solutions that are out there and say, where is our investment going to make the biggest impact? Mm-hmm. And is this organization going to do a great job with the money? Because these donors who give us the money, they're entrusting us to make great decisions. And so we take that very seriously. And so we invest in organizations that are making big impact, that are able to scale and have great financial backgrounds, great records. We know, and we stay on top of them. They hear from me all the time, and we know that they're spending the money that we're investing wisely, and that it's going to make a difference.
Awesome, wonderful. The fact that you are following up and making sure the money is spent right and the life of people is impacted in the direction for the improvement is the base of your organization. That's great. How do you see cancer care changing and improving in the next 10 to 15 years?
I think there's a big movement and some great shifts happening now, becoming more person-centered care mm-hmm. instead of disease-centered. Mm-hmm. I think that's where we're going to see the shift. And in fact, we've made a $50 million investment creating the Livestrong Cancer Institute to do just that, is to create a model of cancer care where when you walk in the door, you are not defined by your diagnosis. Mm-hmm. The diagnosis is important, and that's what brought you there. But that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at you, the person. So instead of saying, oh, you're Sally and you have breast cancer, it's, hi, Sally, you're 45. You're a mom of 3. You work full time. You are middle income, you're African American, you're whatever, right? Who are you? And what do you need to get better? Because it's not just about chemotherapy and radiation. I think what we're beginning to see, and what I believe we'll see in the next 10 to 15 years when it comes to cancer care, is a much more holistic approach to the human being at the center, and a multifaceted care system in place that doesn't just focus on the disease, but also focuses on their emotional and their emotional well-being, their social well-being, their financial well-being. And so it's whole person centered care instead of disease centered care.
Mm-hmm. It's the saying that you indicated, that cancer doesn't define you, you define yourself. And then the treatment of the cancer care will be around you as a person providing emotional support as well as the care that you need to. I hope that direction continues. And I think when there is a personalized approach, we feel more connected and we feel more uplifted. And whenever you have the uplifting soul that you can beat the cancer, you will beat the cancer.
Absolutely. I totally agree. When you have the ability to say, somebody's looking out for me and my needs, because the way that I deal with cancer is probably very different from the way somebody else deals with cancer. And each person, when we're able to respect the person and look at them as a human instead of a number or a disease, then we really do a much better job of taking care of them. And cancer becomes something that is just a part of their lives, but again, doesn't define who we are.
You're absolutely right. I couldn't agree more with you. For our viewers who would like to support your organization, how can they do that?
There are a few ways. One, I would love to have you join the Livestrong family. So you can join our family by jumping on our website or on our Instagram. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, up on LinkedIn. So if you're a LinkedIn person, I'm a LinkedIn person. Come and find us up there. Comment, repost, retweet, whatever. So we've got over 2.2 million social followers. We would love to have you join us. So that's one way you can help us. Tell your story, share your story, tag us when you find somebody that is inspiring to you, whoever that is that has cancer as part of their journey, whether they're a caregiver or a survivor or a patient. Let us know. Tag us in that. Another way that you can help is go to our website and donate. You can donate a couple of ways. $1, $10, $1 a month, that'd be amazing. Every little bit really makes a big difference to us. And because we're going to turn around and invest it in some of those programs that we talked about earlier. So if you go up on our website, you can find that. Another great way to be a part of the Livestrong family and support us is to participate in an event that we have. So we're all over the globe. We actually will be in Dublin and Berlin this year in 2021 at a couple of marathons that they're doing, and the Livestrong team will be there. So you can participate in a marathon, in a cycling event. I'm even doing my own fundraiser. I'm swimming a marathon because I can't run one. So I'm swimming one and raising money. So you can create your own fundraiser. You can participate in one that we've already built for you, just to spread the word and help us continue the great work.
Wonderful. All the links to the Livestrong social media presence will be provided in the link in the description, as well as their link to the website. Thank you so much, Suzanne, for being here and telling you the story of Livestrong. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. Have a wonderful day at Livestrong.
And if for you listening, if you enjoyed our conversation, please press like and share button, because this will show the YouTube and the podcast algorithm that this is an important conversation and that we need help in the cancer care improvement.